everyone, this is Nimish. Today we're going to review the movie Aanandam. This was a hugely successful film in 2016 and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was mind-blowing. It's one of the best movies ever in terms of the modern era and the young generation of films that have been coming out. It has, for me, taken over a lot of the other films that I have watched of bigger superstars like DQ, Nivin, Fahad, everything, because it is so true to its nature. It is so well made. It is so perfect. It has youngsters. It's absolutely a joy of a movie, and it's really fantastic. Currently, this movie tops my list of movies that I would recommend to an outsider, because I feel that the way this movie has been made and the subject that it talks about and the whole story is so relatable to anyone who's ever been a student anywhere, which is most of us. And so I think that, you know, it has that level of connectivity to everyone everywhere, and that's the most important and beautiful part about this movie. If you guys have been following my reviews, you'll know that I usually recommend movies of DQ or Nivin or Fahad with first to outsiders, movies like Charlie, Bangalore Days, stuff like that. And those are generally the movies that most outsiders have watched because of their extreme fame that they have achieved. Movies like Premam and many such new movies. But this is one movie which is not only a new release, but I'm sure that anyone who will watch it from outside will absolutely love. So let's get into understanding some of the performances of this movie, because, you know, I really don't want to get into dissecting this movie. It was just perfect, but I just want to make a few comments about it. And so let's begin. I have the cast list in front of me since I don't know their names offhand. So there were four primary characters of the guys, played by Thomas Matthew, Arun Kurian, Roshan Matthew and Vishak Nair. Now, Roshan Matthew, I think I have seen him in Putyaniyamam, and I think he did a fabulous job in this movie. His complete image and his transformation was really something to watch, you know, and he played it with extreme natural approach, extremely blended in. And I think that the casting is something that has been incredible in this movie. It has worked so perfectly. Like, there could not be a better casting director or, you know, a better casting for this movie, because everyone in their roles suited it perfectly. It felt like the casting director has known these people and their personalities and perfectly taken it so that they match the story and the characters. It's just a fabulous attempt. So Roshan Matthew has done a great job. Vishak Nair is the plays the so-called, you know, the stereotypical comedy character who's the kind of the joker of the group, who wants to make everyone laugh, who's, you know, buddies and stuff like that, and he does his job very well. But that character is the only character, you know, you of course need it in such a movie to connect with everyone. But I just felt that that character we've seen a lot over the years, whether it's English movies, Hindi movies, and that's the only character that I felt was very stereotypical. But it was required for this movie, and they did a fabulous job. Vishak did a fabulous job in enacting it. So, you know, it's okay. It all blended in. The theme suits the character, so it was much better actually than the other movies we've seen. For example, a good example right now would be movies like Scream, the original Scream, and stuff like that, where there's always a comic character or an overly clown character who's trying to make everyone laugh and stuff like that. So more than those movies, it suited here because this is actually a bunch of college students and we actually have one person like that in our group always. So that was perfectly acceptable. But yes, it's definitely one character that was stereotypical compared to others. Thomas Matthew is the perfect Malayali character, so to speak, you know, because in my college there were a lot of Malayalis when I was doing my MBA, and so I know my friends are like that, you know. They're always very smiling, very happy, very cheerful, very much into their friends, and, you know, just happy-go-lucky, and, you know, always like very childlike and fun. And I think that that was the important character and perfectly cast, and it's like the perfect Malayali character, so to speak. It's stuff like how Nivin Pauly plays in some movies, you know, the typical fun character, loving character, friendly character. It's also something that you see in many Malayalam movies. So that is the perfect textbook character that they have again cast very well. And I think that, although that's not my favorite character, I'll come to that later, but I think that that's what was important for this movie, to connect with the local audiences, and so that's why he got the main role and so-called the leading role who leads the story and stuff like that. My favorite, of course, was Arun Kurian. I thought that, I'm not sure if his personality is like that in real life, but I felt that personality was magnetic. It was it gave a sort of maturity to the film, to the group. His character was supposed to be responsible, headstrong, and having a kind of past with the other characters, the other female characters there. And I think that he did really well. His composure that he maintained, because I've not seen him in many other films, so I don't know if these are their first films or not, but he maintained that composure, that dignity, and he gave a lot of maturity and weightage to this film. He gave it a soul, he gave it a heart more than anyone else did. If you think of the character of Thomas Matthew, that's Akshay. He's just leading the story. It's around him and his crush. He's leading the story, that character. If you think of Roshan Matthew, it's kind of a parallel story. It never really comes with Thomas Matthew's story. There's a lot of similar names here. So Roshan's story or Gautam's story doesn't really come along or get together with Akshay's story. It's kind of a parallel story going on. Vishak is the friendly guy who's everywhere, whereas Arun is the guy who gives a lot of soul and weightage to the movie. So I think these both characters were perfectly balanced and perfectly blended together. Coming to the female cast, there was Anu Antony, who did wonderfully, played the perfect role. Siddhi, who played Diya, who was again well cast as the pretty girl who the Akshay likes and stuff like that, and the protected girl, whatever the character was in detail. She played her part really well. It was again well cast. And Darshana Menon as Anarkali, I'm guessing. I'm just reading off because I don't remember all their names. So all these people did great. Their performances were great. My favorite scene was, of course, the one at the beach where they have a rough kind of conversation and sort of an argument. And they're all kind of a little drunk and they have a sort of weird, all secrets come out and they have this weird kind of conversation happening. That scene was incredible, and I think that even when the movie ended and the shot of the balloons going in the air, it was so beautiful. So everything was super amazing about this movie, including the music and the way the music was put in. It blended everywhere. It never seemed out of place or forced. And to top it all off, it has a special appearance by Nivin Pauly, who's playing this ultra cool character. And he just adds the whole kind of element of greatness to this movie. And I don't know, I've said this before, I think I've said this for my review of Orumutta Sigada, that for some reason any piece of work that I like more than usual in the Malayalam film industry, like if I really like it, it has to have Nivin Pauly somewhere. If it's a story idea, whether it's a special appearance, whether he's in it, it has to have some connection to Nivin Pauly, and that's kind of funny and incredible. So he's there in this movie too, and that's why he again reinforces himself as my favorite of all the young lot that we have. And that's absolutely, it's just, I don't know, he has like a Midas touch. It's just like if he's there, or if he's there involved in some way or the other, the movie has to have something special. So he was great in that special appearance. It really gave a kind of boost to that movie, because you're staying with new characters all through the movie, and then if a familiar superstar face comes in, it always pushes the movie up a level and gives it a nice punch. And his role was not just a cameo for the sake of being a cameo. It was a pretty nice role that more and more actors should consider doing in more and more films, so that we all get to enjoy their small performances. So really, this movie is a complete film. As I said, I just wanted to speak about the characters, not really go into dissections, because it's perfect. It is a number one on my list of movies that I would recommend to outsiders, because as I said, anyone can connect to it. It's fantastic. I'm going with 5 stars for Aanandam because it was mind-blowingly perfect. I hope you like this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and take care.